Namaskaram everyone, welcome to this podcast, which is XR Marketing Revolution, Immersive Experience for Brand Success. So as we all know that XR technologies are changing the game for marketers, also allowing them to engage their audience in a new kind of new and immersive ways. But what does this revolution actually mean for brands? And to help us navigate this fascinating topic, we have invited Ms. Ankita Chaturvedi. She looks after product marketing at AdWords, which is a virtual education platform designed as the first step forward toward building an education metaverse. Ankita is also a marketing XR consultant at IXR Labs, which provides immersive content for higher education. She has completed her BTech from SRM University, her MBA in marketing from Bennett University. She has in total 5 years of experience in accelerating business growth across SaaS, consumer internet, and media industries. And she also holds the diploma in Kathak. So welcome, Ankita. Welcome.
Namaste. Thanks, Pooja. Thanks for inviting me here. It's completely a pleasure to be speaking with you.
Yeah, I hope we'll get a lot of great insights.
Sure. Let's dive in.
So let's just start by what actually we all know what XR means, but what does it actually means from a marketing standpoint?
Um, so I don't know if the audience knows about what extended reality is. So XR full form is extended reality, which I quoted earlier. So it's an encompassing term for technologies like virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So these technologies blend the physical and digital worlds together, um, offering marketers like us to sort of engage with consumers. So this can take two, three routes. One is directly B2C, wherein there are companies like Instagram, Lenskart, be it our IKEA, wherein these brands are delivering marketing experiences to the consumers directly, while there are certain companies like Meta, uh, Microsoft, companies like Edwards, Verbella, wherein these companies are enabling the ecosystem with virtual reality spaces or spaces wherein we can create virtual shared experiences. So, one small example is if you want to understand the terminologies better, there is an AR app called Snapchat, which we all are familiar with, Instagram that we are all familiar with, wherein there are filters that let users interact with branded content, enhancing brand visibility. So, for my past work experience, which wasn't better after I, as a marketer, sort of encashed Instagram filters, for instance, to create brand awareness at a major scale, wherein we launched one Instagram filters 15 days or fortnightly, and with over a course of say 6 months, 1 year of time, we were able to see one or two of our filters working so well that they created 1 billion plus impressions. And that is something that I, as a marketer, could showcase as a value to my company, which was Better Half, that we did it with zero marketing cost. And there were a lot of influencers, there were a lot of celebrities who picked up on our filters. So, this is just one small example of augmented reality, which has been put in good use as a marketer to drive value to the business.
Yeah, like as you mentioned that how Lenskart has been, using a feature called virtual try-ons, and
Yes.
also, yeah, and also Snapchat is using AR filters. So, like, what are other sorts of marketing strategies for marketers?
So marketing strategies again can be divided into business to business need. Uh, as I again would come back to my fundamentals, that we can see what kind of business that we are targeting for. Is it a B2C business or a B2B business? If it is a B2C business, for example, IKEA Place app is a prime example. You know, how they are using it is that they are using AR to let consumers visualize how furniture would fit in their homes before making a purchase. So it's a proper product uh, plus marketing initiative that they had put in the place so that a customer has that first level of advantage, you know, to try on before buying sort of an experience. Um, what else I can think of right now is probably how we are doing it for our company, right? Probably how I am utilizing marketing efforts for, say, AdWords. It's more on the traditional side of marketing that we're looking forward to, wherein our company is strategically placed into B2B SaaS segment, wherein it is considered as a Web3 company. So for Web3 companies, the channels that work really, really well are, say, Telegram, Discord, wherein we are focused on creating community-based marketing, even Twitter, wherein it's more on the sides of how we are giving value to our users. So be it through our NFTs, be it through our tokens, be it through any added advantage in terms of monetary terms, our community sort of is helping and is always driven to find and engage on our platform. So these are small techniques, and majorly, I feel in the Web3 space, particularly, if we are targeting directly the customers, it's more on the community based marketing. But if we are targeting, say, for example, our clients, which are corporates, which are companies in general, then we have to sort of go the traditional way, wherein we have to enable our sales team with, say, product collaterals, videos, testimonials, know-how videos, putting the proper website in place, working in the on the SEO side. So these are traditional ways of marketing that if we have, like, it's all objective driven, honestly. But if you're asking how a company can drive benefit out of marketing in XR, or specifically marketing for XR, of course, it depends on how you want to, which goal that you're planning to achieve for.
Yes, and actually, the businesses which are actually in, especially in B2 and B2C and B2C, and XR is actually kind of promising their customers that they can, try a product before buying. So, in that case, I think businesses have to like create a kind of storytelling in which it comes. I think then XR can like really transport customers to a different world, and so storytelling has always been a crucial element of marketing. And
Course.
yeah.
So anything, so it has, of course, the story has to be presented to drive value for the consumer. Again, if you're talking specifically about uh, how marketers can leverage XR for their marketing efforts, of course, it's a beautiful journey that they can craft for themselves, and of course, the possibilities are endless. You can, of course, so again, talking about virtual reality, if I talk about virtual reality, you can wear the headset, you can enter, say, for example, a shop space. You can, and that is actually possible. So if you're planning to buy a luxury car, or if you're planning to buy any commodity, you can just wear the headset. You can even experience the feeling of entering into the store, selecting for yourself, getting into it, driving it through, and you know making that informed purchasing decision by immersing yourself into it, and it's very cost effective, right? Of course, the one time cost to creating that experience would be much higher, but overall, the cost would be very low if we talk about the scale. Second is like metaverse platform like Roblox. It gained momentum last year, wherein we have heard a lot of companies like Nike, Gucci, etc., buying lands over there. Why? Because they wanted the the traffic on the metaverse platform was such that every brand was bidding on getting that real estate property on the digital platform so that they can uh, a be visible to their audience, c sorry b they can interact with their audience, and eventually, of course, creating that awareness, first mover advantage into the technology. So yeah, I think as a marketer, if I have to talk about utilizing XR, it's a beautiful space, sort of to play around, to give value to your company in terms of the ROIs given, and yeah, overall drafting and crafting marketing strategies, giving some budgets to it as well.
Yes, how you mentioned Roblox and Nike, I remember that there was a news that Nike listed their shoes in the metaverse already, even
Yeah,
before the hype. So that's how strategies brands are coming up with.
yeah.
Yeah. So now that we have understood what XR is and marketing is, and also how we can create a brand experience around it, like now let's talk about what is actually the ROI of the XR in marketing. Like it surely does sound exciting, but is it just a hype, or it's like going to stay, or like how is it cost effective for brands?
I would like to state it in the fashion of everything which you dive into, any media that you dive into, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. So you know, implementing XR and marketing, highlighting the challenges for it. I think one thing is that I also mentioned is that initial cost of setup can be highly significant. Yeah. So, for instance, creating a high quality VR experience can be really expensive because there's a lot of infrastructure that is required to create that particular VR experience. And it requires a lot of business functions to work together to bring it that visually high quality experience, immersive experience out. They are Unity developers, they are 3D developers, they are 2D developers, then they are product managers, they are project managers, they are content developers, they are visual designers. So and you cannot do it in house. There are companies that are specialized, like for example, I know for a fact that there is a company called Eddie who are doing it, and of course, each project is very cost intensive. So one point is that it surely is a very tedious task in terms of the time of delivery also, um, in terms of getting the value out of it. Second point is that again, in talking about the barriers, each experience has a device attached to it. So if I talk about VR, probably if I develop for, say, for example, Apple Vision Pro, then it might not be compatible with Google uh, or MetaQuest Pro, right? So, in terms of feasibility of the same VR experience, probably the compatibility of the software can also be an issue. Um, what else? You know, there. I think I can subside it, but there are some sort of privacy and ethical concerns also that crops up while talking about XR in marketing. So that is something which I feel if brands are very cognizantly putting their ideas into reality, so they have to strike a balance. And what else? um I don't know. The strengths are that how beautifully you can you know play, you can put storytelling into play, like just as you said, that say for example Disney Star Wars Secrets of the Empire. If you think about it, and if you think about transporting it to a VR experience, the world of Star Wars, you just entering into it, it sort of brings in that part of your story, that part of your visual identity to come into the picture. So I feel in terms of strategizing it, probably if you have good budgets in place, then you uh, should actually dive in. But if you're budget constrained, which usually the companies are in looking at the market sentiment, I don't know if it is giving. If you want to actually present any idea in form of visual story, then it's of course a bang on. You should go about it. But if it's not a very revenue driven or a KPI driven goal, then you should refrain from it, because the only thing VR can do is create your brand awareness and give that elevated experience to the consumer. So if you focused on giving an elevated experience, or giving that form of visual treat to your audience, then it's a must go ahead. Like companies like Disney Hotstar, companies like probably like all these OTT platforms can surely dive into, or the cash cows of consumer durables like Samsung, Apple, probably can get into it, giving their consumers a good value driven marketing out of it. But for others, probably for small scale startups, it's a big no.
Yeah. So how we earlier talked about how brands have to be essential about privacy. Like, what are other considerations for brands that they should be looked after before diving into using XR for marketing?
I think it's a good way for geographically connected. So it cannot be primarily driven for marketing, honestly. Uh, what other uses of VR that we have found useful for companies is that it can be used as a perfect collaboration uh, tool, wherein companies from geographically dispersed backgrounds or locations can come together, work, just like how MetaQuest 2 is working on that big project, right? So it's probably not the marketing per se, but it's a value driven use of virtual reality, where people like you and me who are talking right now can be just wearing those glasses, headsets on, and then we could be interacting just like sitting next to each other, sitting in front of each other. It's a beautiful interview that Mark Zuckerberg have had with all the journalists and reporters while he launched that app, right? So it's not only the marketing side that we can look into, it's the business side also that could be explored. Similarly, it can be used for say education. It can also be used for gaming. Gaming is the actually the most used example, because consumers are a lot in terms of getting into that immersive experiences and getting benefit out of it. So for example, a person who is obese or wants to explore something into the fitness per se, they can just wear that headset, and just like an Apple Watch, sort of tracks your progress in terms of your workout, your calories burned, your steps, etc. It will also give you exact measurable outcomes in a much more fun way. So you might not need to even go or walk down to a gym or take a gym subscription. You can just do it at the comfort of your home. Um, like the ideas and the possibilities are endless. It's not even about VR. We can There's a company called Verbilla, who is which is sort of helping companies create these office spaces, and actually it's a remote friendly work environment that they have created, wherein you just sit in your comfort of your home, and you feel that you are exactly in office while using that tool, because it is such a beautiful, like, we could have easily you how should I tell you, like, you are represented in form of your avatar. We could have walked
Like
down.
a
Yeah, we would have walked down, we would have seated, say, next to each other, having a one-on-one chat, um, in form of our avatar. Probably a video would have been coming behind, and the whole thing could have been much more realistic and a better experience, probably maybe for both of us. Their hand gestures, their sticky notes, etc. Same is the case with what we have created for Edwards. It's primarily directed towards students and teachers, uh, kind of a relationship, but the utility in terms of the features that I have called out, it's exactly the same. So yeah, I think XR experiences are much more beyond marketing. Marketing is just a small step in terms of amplifying these technologies, probably. But the value that we are probably getting out of these XR experiences is something that needs more voices to amplify.
yeah. And also like brands like cannot just rely on the traditional methods of marketing to grow their brand. And I think they need to stay ahead of the curve and like use these marketing trends that you mentioned just now. And looking into the future, where do you think that exam marketing might be headed in, let's say, next few years, 5 years, 10 years? And I think it's growing very rapidly. So even if I'm saying 5 years, that's actually a lot.
I think the opportunities are like fantastically all around us. Like, and some of the free tools that I had just spoken about, say AR filters, I think no brand has even, like, it's all paid, but brands can actually use filters to create brand awareness. I think it's just zero marketing spend, and the kind of like, they can actually put that point in action wherein they can just release filters and create brand awareness on their own. Probably we were lucky also because we were in the B2C space, but it had worked wonders for our brand when I was working with Better Half Today. For the brands, like, this is something that I can give an advice to startups who are operating in a B2C space or a D2C space, wherein they sort of think about creating awareness. They're just struggling through. They can actually just get deep dive in. Both Snapchat filters and Instagram filters create give you that creator tools to, if you have basic knowledge of say a little coding and designing, you can easily pull it through on your own, or with the help of your some talented engineer friends that you can have in the ecosystem.
Yeah, and actually, how day by day these experiences are looking like so real time, and you just don't even think that this is all virtual reality. It's just
Yeah,
feels so
yeah, yeah,
real.
absolutely. Like, once you put in that headset, you just forget about your environment. It's you and your own world. And I don't know if it's good or bad, honestly, but it surely is an experience. And I think at least everyone who is listening to this should, for once, experience the power of virtual reality. And how you can do it easily is, like, it's very common these days. You can go to any mall, play games over there, just to see how it works to start with. Because I'm sure most of the people must even do not know the difference between what is virtual reality, augmented reality, extended reality, mixed reality. These are just some fancy words, honestly. But yeah, they are the future, and we are living in the future.
Yeah. So how as this exam field is growing rapidly day by day, what are like the breakthroughs or innovations that we can anticipate in terms of like XR and marketing?
Breakthrough innovations that we can anticipate. Okay. Uh, 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 just I am thinking. Mm, I don't know. Yeah, Meta has sort of uh, l- Meta was not Meta earlier. It was Facebook, right? And honestly, I am just part of small part of the big ecosystem that these huge, humongous companies are sort of driving. So I don't know honestly uh, what it is in store for us. Probably the marriage of AI, VR can be a possible way, because that is just an emerging technology that has just disrupted the industries, um, be the size, scale, etc. So how the marriage of VR and AI can be put into the picture, probably virtual assistant, which is AI infused, can sort of help you answer questions while you are immersed in an environment. So, for example, I was taking up an example of, say, Star Wars, or um, anything, any example, like if you're coming for a shopping experience and you just out there talking to a virtual assistant in terms of asking him the questions, or how the questions about what purchase to be made, what kind of suggestions to be looked at, what kind of outfit would suit you. They can give you answers basis the questions that you are answering, and it's all AI, right? That is what we do with our chat GPT every day. So probably I feel that is something that might, of course, be a breakthrough for, say, 2 years. But what major change that is anticipated is something I feel is all derived from these giants like Meta, Google, probably, or Apple, who are actually creating these headsets, because we are also working in terms of creating that experience with the features that they are providing in their hardware, right? So yeah, I don't know. On the company side, we launch features, we launch uh, everything to our users or to our customers. So for us, as as a startup, our customers are the king. So whatever they say, whatever they do, they are our king. So we do and follow what our consumers are telling us, and nothing else. So if you ask as a startup person, yeah, I think for us, our customers are our god, and we just follow them to their feedback, etc., and we just amplify or craft our marketing strategies basis that.
Yeah, and also how you like talked about the marriage of XR and AI, and I think it is actually happening. Like we also earlier talked about meta humans. So how like developers, especially XR developers, are like integrating ChatGPT in like any game development software like Unreal Engine, and how two meta humans are talking actually and taking all that information from ChatGPT. So that's actually very fascinating to see how the industry is evolving at such pace.
Yeah, it's quite cool actually. Like all the apps that you see, which are on your headset specifically, which helps you create that environment, or helps you craft that environment. For example, Frame is a company which helps you create your 3D environments. It also helps you integrate virtual assistants, which can either talk to you as your consumer, or it can help facilitate conversations around. So it's already happening. It's not something that I'm telling you. It's already there, but how each use case would be treated differently, how it can be disrupted in terms of solving for consumers, as I say, is something that we should all look forward.
Yeah, and also how we earlier talked about creating a story around your product or creating a story around your brand, and the overall importance of storytelling in XR and generally also marketing. So that can be like a tip for people who are diving into XR and marketing. So what do you think are like the other tips that will be helpful for people who are trying to use XR in marketing?
I think there's nothing new. There's no specific skill set that is required to get into the field of XR for marketing, honestly. It's a relatively very new term. If you know the basics of marketing, you're good to market not in the XR space, you're good to market in any industry, any company, any industry scale. Your fundamentals should be clear. The kind of affinity you have towards the verticals of marketing should be clear, or you should be open to at least trying it out. Having said that, coming to the other part of the question, wherein what are the skills that would be required if someone is looking to market mm, for creating XR experiences for their audience? I would say one thing is important is your market research. So, you need to understand your audience really, really well for the TG that you are solving for. So, for example, there was a game called Pokemon Go. So,
Yeah.
why was Pokemon Go was success? Because it was a part of the appeal that it brought to both the casual gamers as well as the hardcore Pokemon fans. So that was their TG, right? And that was the kind of product positioning that they encompassed on, and they knew their audience really, really well in terms of creating that. They created a product out of Pokemon as well as the gaming part of it, right? So understanding your audience is very, like, I would say it's fundamental. What kind of value that you're trying to provide, right? So if I talk about Snapchat, uh, it also has a lens called try before you buy lens that allows users to engage with products, uh, again enhancing their overall shopping experience, like what we talked about IKEA, what we talked about Lenskart, even Amazon is doing it. It's a beautiful product, but it's a product feature which sort of help in terms of providing value. So if you're a marketer, you can leverage that feature, and you can just tell your audience that, hey, we have this and this feature, wherein you may not need to purchase the product um, at a go. You can first, put your camera around your house. You can see if it fits your environment, and if you like it, then you can make the purchase. So I think XR is providing better experience for you as a marketer. The third part is how to sort of test and then optimize for your consumer, right? So, what differentiation Oculus is giving is that it continuously updates its VR headsets, right? On the user feedback, they get, um, eventually crafting a much higher value of the headset that they have right now, which is a blend of both uh, it's an extended reality, right? Wherein you can use your laptop while being in a virtual reality. So it's beautiful, and it has come out of nowhere. It's just they're testing and optimizing holistically and delivering value to your users. Um, the fourth point I would say for marketers should be, collaborating with experts, right? So there's one company that I remember is called Magic Leap, which sort of collaborates with, you know, developers and designers to create mixed reality experiences. And what they will do is they emphasize on the importance of expertise. So, as I told you, that the industry is very it's very new. B, it's infrastructure heavy, it's cost heavy. So how they're bringing and driving value for users in terms of collaborating with experts is something that magically has sort of done it beautifully. And the final part, which we have already spoken about, is how do we measure the ROI? And I think one company which I remember reading a case study about is IKEA, wherein they track all the interactions with their AR app, gaining sort of consumer feedback through, say, how the customer, uh, what kind of product the customer has preferred, what is the tab that they have done, how many times they have put in uh, the AR experience into the place, what kind of behavior the consumer is having. So I think this is something, I think, which I forget mentioning the last time, which we are talking about how companies can measure ROI. They can, if it's on an app, or if it's on, if it's a B2C model that they are following, it can be easily tracked through clicks, as well as can be reported on any measuring tools like Mixpanel, etc. So yeah, I think this is how I would say it's not pure short marketing efforts that I have spoken about. Probably it's a blend of the work of product also. It's blend of work of engineers. It's a collaborative effort, I would say, in terms of creating that experience. And I would be really honest. There's a lot of thought brainstorming sessions that go beyond. That go behind creating um, the experience, or getting the product out, both.
Yeah, and I think how you mentioned Pokemon Go, I think the reason, major reason why they succeeded with, that AR game is because I think they did it way before people even knew terms like AR, VR,
Yeah,
XR.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. What but they knew their audience really well. They knew the excitement. So the point I was trying to make was that you need to understand your customers really well to come up with these sort of ideas. It can be like, probably what should I say? Maybe, I don't know. Even the scanning, like the codes, the QR codes are a version of augmented reality. If people might not know, uh, so I don't know. Like, the use cases are a lot, but how you are using your use case is something that is up to the company's marketing folks to explore.
yeah, and also, do you think that this first movers advantage, how Pokemon Go used, is this important, or like companies can still like enter this field of XR in marketing?
I would say you start small, and see, you need to focus on your business objectives at the end. You need to see the cost at the end. You need to see the value that you've given to the company while investing in any of the technology. So I remember metaverse being a buzzword last year. And like, I saw companies investing in not even lakhs, in crores, creating very okayish or below average experiences. And I was in state of shock. Why? Why are you doing it? You start small, but I would and try to give that ROI to the company you're working for, right? Because everything is measured, everything companies have become really, really smart in terms of how they're spending their budgets and looking at the market condition, everything has been sloshed. So I would suggest be frugal and be observant of what value that you're bringing to your consumers, right? Uh, and then dive in completely. Just give it your 100%. So what? Yeah, as a marketer, my advice would be just smart. You can always start small. You can just test it out and then you can scale it up. Just do not invest heavily and see for the results, right? And the results that are probably sometimes that are not measurable even.
Yeah. So I think we have covered a lot of ground today, like from understanding what XR and marketing is to like exploring strategies, building brand experiences, and also like how knowing your audience is much more important before trying any strategy like a new field which is XR and metaverse. So like before we wrap up, and do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts are that it's a very interesting space to be in. I think every marketer should at least look and should look for the opportunity that it can bring it to you. Just do not subside this channel of marketing, which is not traditional. Uh, so I think this channel of marketing has worked wonders for me in the past. I am working in this space and giving value to my audience, um, bringing business to the company. So I think this is something that is unexplored for most of the marketers out there. I was I would like to suggest that it should be put on cards for everyone to explore or experiment with. And modes of experimentation is something that I have covered honestly before. So yeah, I think marketing is such a field that experimentation, some things might work, some things might not work, but what might work can work wonders for you as an individual, and it's always a learning experience.
I think it was actually very insightful for me personally as well. And I think our audience also got a lot of insights and new perspectives on this field. So thank you for doing this, Ankita.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much for
Namaskar.
inviting.
Namaskar.
Bye.